after 4 years of doing this, of being in touch with all the communities in Barcelona, the major players, initiatives, trying to do things together, to be on their media, we still meet people within the ecosystem that don't know about us. So this makes me think that even if you are doing it right, or close to right, the communication, what I learned is that the impact of your communication is much lower than what you expect. You can communicate a lot, but it doesn't mean that the message gets out there. And hopefully, I hope that this is not what's happening right now, that I'm just talking and like you are thinking in something else. So the second thing that I wanted to share, and it's related also to communication, is that, you know, I have this tendency like to over-explain myself, like give a lot of reasons, try to make people understand what I want to say, and like make myself clear. Well, I think that you can kind of get what I mean, right? So this doesn't help. This doesn't help much with public speaking, and this public speaking thing takes me back to 2014, to the event that we hosted with Rosso. I think it was October 2014, and what happened there was that I fucked up on stage. I was really nervous, started talking a lot of nonsense and not make any sense at all. And after that, I decided, I got scared of speaking in public, and I spent like 6 or 7 events without speaking again until our first anniversary here. And actually what I did is nothing like extraordinary or like took a super course or something. It was basically just practicing and trying and like preparing the presentation. And okay, I did it. It was okay. Well, honestly, I did something else that led me to this practicing and training, which was reading a book. I'm sure that 90% of you are familiar with this book. It's a great book, but the great thing is that besides, yeah, it provides some little tricks for public speaking, but the main message, the main thing is that what you need to do if you want to get somewhere or get something is try, and practice, and eventually you will get there. And the great thing is that it doesn't apply only to public speaking, but to anything that you would like to do. So keep that in mind. If you want something and try hard enough, you eventually will get there. And I know I'm still work in progress, and I'm still working hard to reach a really great level, and hopefully one day I will reach this level.
Entendimiento y tengamos pronto un modelo de financiación autonómica. Yo puedo asegurarles a ustedes que haré todo lo que pueda y un poco más de lo que pueda si es que eso es posible. Y haré todo lo posible e incluso lo imposible si también lo imposible es posible.
Okay, I'm sure that I will get there one day if I keep trying. And okay, let's go with the third thing. The third thing is related to help, and I'm sure that if we had a way to measuring it, like help is most likely one of the most used words within a startup ecosystem. It's part of ourselves here in Startup Grind. As you can see, we always ask, how can we help you? And we encourage you to help each other. But at the same time, I've realized that there are a few things, specifically 3, that make it harder to have a really helping culture. And these 3 things, one is that in general, we don't know how to ask for help. We still, after 4 years of trying to educate like people coming to the events, of asking it very often, we still get a lot of like very unspecific answers, like what do you need, customers or investors, or like impossible things like to help. Even if you want to, you cannot help if you get a request of this kind. So it's very important if you learn like to shift the way of asking help and like asking for very little and specific things, because that way the person that wants to help you actually is able to do that without a big effort, and you will start getting much more help. The second thing, I don't know if it will be very popular, but it's like, I think that some of you will agree that this world is also a little bit like filled in with a little bit of bullshit, no? And I explain. So it's so hard to meet someone that you talk to and doesn't say, hey, yes, I have this amazing startup. I'm doing great. We're growing a lot. We're talking to a lot of investors. Everything is so wonderful. And then you meet them like 3 months later, 6 months later, and everything's gone. So, okay, this comes from the fake it until you make it culture that is not bad, not necessarily bad, but I think that this might affect also like the ability to ask for help, because it can make people feel vulnerable if they are asking for help, because they can feel that they are not within the environment, like in the right position. And the third thing, of course, are like these individuals that are present everywhere that don't really believe in help. They just like think of help as something of like free work or free services and something that just goes in one direction. But the good thing is that even though if this is real, or maybe it's just me that perceives it that way, the good thing is that helping, it's always worth it. And furthermore, eventually, it pays off. So please keep this in mind, help each other, collaborate, and everything will get, we all will profit from that. And finally, I wanted to mention another thing that I keep on listening a lot, no? Is like, if you want to talk to investors, you should do this. If you want to sell to a B2B, you should do that. If you want to manage your team, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, some of these tips are great and they actually work. But for me, the most important thing is to be aware and to keep in mind that all your investors, all your suppliers, customers, colleagues, bosses, they are all people. They are people like you, and that's the most important thing to succeed. Treat them like people, like you would like to be treated, and that way you will be able to get what you want. And the startup grind is no exception to that. I mean, for me, the best thing is the people, and not only like everyone that I'm able to meet every month at our events, but also the team. I know when we started, I already knew Alex, Paul, Mark, that today cannot be here, because we used to organize the different kind of events. Actually, I'm showing you a few pictures that can get you an idea. They were very professional events. Okay, so, and I already knew that they were great guys, were among my friends. But the great thing is that, especially last year, thanks to the organization of the conference in October, I had the chance to work very closely with 3 people that they are amazing and that are now among my friends, and I wanted to thank them now. And these people are here. Okay, some of you might be thinking, yeah, that I chose them because they are very pretty, but no, that's not the reason. Okay, so the reason is that I want to thank them because Carol, that I don't know if she's around, maybe trying to make my head blow or something. She thanked her because of her willingness to help, her patience, her amazing design skills. Also would like to thank Bego, that is coordinating all this today, because of her permanent smile, positivism, and amazing organizing skills. And Megan, who is back in the United States, who was interning with me last trimester, because she makes better those around her, and because she is the best event planner ever. Okay, so please, a big applause to all of them. And now, because of the 4 reasons that I mentioned, because all communication is never enough, because helping others is very important, because in the end, people is what really matters, and because as they say, sí se puede, yes, it's possible, I would like to call Marisa on stage, and please listen very carefully for what she has to say now.
First of all, thank you very much to the Stand Up Green Barcelona team for giving us the opportunity of being here and presenting you our project. Las Historias de Sofía is a charitable project which was created to help children and their families while going through difficult situations such as hospital treatments, underprivileged sectors, or at risk of social exclusion. Our association was born from a personal experience. Sofía is real. She's my daughter, and 3 days after her birth, she was shockingly diagnosed with a serious heart disease. And doctors said she had to be operated at the age of 3 months. To make a long story short, Sofía is totally recovered now. And we decided we had to do something and help others in similar situations. We strongly believe that we have to be active patients and we have to work together with the doctors in our healing process. We can do a lot. We strongly and firmly believe that positive emotions have a direct effect in our lives and in our health. What do we do and how do we do it? We promote, organize activities, events for children and their families, which with the main focus are based on emotions, values, positive attitude, and positive thinking. And collaborating with entities which are investigating childhood diseases and or improving the quality of life of kids and their families while going through those terrible moments as treatments at hospitals, such as Hospital Sant Joan de Déu, Hospital de la Vall d'Hebron, Casa Ronald McDonald, among others. How do we do it? Via donations and participating, organizing events at their places, at the hospitals or locations. So you can see in the pictures that I'm showing here, those are parts of the events that we are doing and having together with children and with different entities. And those are, some pictures of the donations that we are doing. So our main funding resource is our own collection of books. We have already published 2, and we are heading for the 3rd one. The first book is the story of Sofía, and it's called El Parche Mágico. So we've got a stand out there. If you want to know more about our association, I ask you to come and visit us. We will be really, really glad to give you any information you want. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Marisa, if you don't know that organization, I strongly recommend you to get to know Marisa. Is a wonderful, wonderful person. And I am proud to actually and thankful very much to the Startup Grind Barcelona team for taking it on because you wanted to have a couple of things that I thought was very super cool. Alex, Carlos, Beco, the whole team. When you guys were looking to stay true to your, values, and you wanted to have you gave me a profile to try to help you guys look for an organization that was, 1, a startup, 2, that was being led by women or females, because we need a lot more of those here in the city, and 3, one that was really going out of its way to help others. And it was actually very thankful to you guys for going out of your way to find an organization that does just that. So thank you very much, Marisa, for you and Concha, and of course your 2 daughters. And you can count on the Startup Grind and us to help you out. Okay? Okay, so we're a little bit behind schedule, right, Alex? So let's go ahead. If you can start up the music, we're going to go ahead. Oh, sorry. We have some speakers today. I'm the ugly one all the way to the right there, but we have some amazing people with us here today. Helen, Cecilia, Vincent, and David, if you guys can get ready to come up, but if we can get the music started up. Here at Do you want to continue the tradition, Alex, with people standing up as they're introduced? Okay, if you guys can help me out, if you can stand up for a quick second, get a little bit of oxygen. We have a tradition here at the startup grind. If you can clap and we get some music coming up on board as people come in. David? Helena? Come on up. Thank you very much. This today, because we only get the best of the best here at the Startup Grind Barcelona. So actually, I'm going to start with you. You keep pointing over there, so I want to. Okay, we'll go from that side to here. If you can, please quickly introduce yourselves, and then I'll have some questions that I'll address. And we're going to try to keep it, say, to 2-3 minutes so that we can be fresh with the crowd. And let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, can you hear me? Oh. Let's see now, yeah. Okay, so I'm David Tomàs, or David Thomas, as you prefer. I'm the co-founder of CyberClick. I'm a little bit old now, because I started in 1999. I was 7 years old, so no, that's wrong. I was a little bit older. And I was here 3 years ago. I mean, I have to say it was one of the best events I've been, because I love the community. And we talked mainly about how to create a great team of people working with you, and about digital marketing. So that was the reason I was here. Thank you.
Good evening, pleasure to be here. I was a co-founder of BlaBlaCar Spain, left and be business angel for 2 years, and now in a new venture called Consentio here in Barcelona. And what I'm here is, is to give and share. And what you give and share, you give it back. And this is here in Startup Green, actually, that I met my actual co-founder. So that's the way you actually give to the community, and the community give it back to you. So this is why I'm here today.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So I'm Helena Torras. I'm CEO and co-founder at B1. We are a digital coach for women's health, so every woman, just download the app. Before I was at Abiquo, so I've been for 10 years in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, also as a small investor. And I was, I think, 2 years ago in Startup Green, and it was one of the interviews with the most challenging questions, not the typical ones. And so I'm very glad to be here and to expect new challenging questions.
Hi, I am Cecilia Tham. I am a social technologist. It means that I get to play with toys all day long. No, I'm kidding. I do get to play with toys all day long. No, I apply technologies to solve social good. So I'm a social technologist at Alpha. I'm also an entrepreneur. I co-founded Future Funded, which is the first crowdfunding platform to raise the next generation of women in tech. I also do a whole bunch of shit. Can I say that? I can say that, right? Can say that. It's already been said. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So let's hop right into it. David, one of the things I was hoping that you could share with us is you wrote a book that's actually very famous now, made well, congratulations. In English, I believe it's translated as The Happiest Company in the World. La empresa más feliz del mundo, right? Okay, so if people had to walk away from here tonight, what are the 3-4 very quick things that you would like for them to remember from your book?
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah. Well, let me say one thing, because I think, Cecilia, you need to talk more about your project. We supported Future Funded at CyberClick, and I invite you to do the same, because that's a great project supporting women in tech, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So 3 ideas. One would be say no, because we need to learn to say no in order to know exactly what we want to do and focus on the project we want to work. The second idea would be that the happiest company in the world is on you. So you need to work a little bit on yourself. And if you want to create a great company, that's something you need to start with. I mean, if you are not a happy entrepreneur, you're not going to create a happy company. So start by yourself. And the third is there's a virtuous circle that you can develop, and is as follow. If you, on Monday morning, if you're happy, you have more energy, okay? Have you ever taken the metro Monday morning? You know what I mean, right? So the majority of people are not really happy Monday morning. But if you are, you get to your company and you have a lot of energy. So you're going to achieve great goals. Your team, they're going to see how you work. So they're going to be a little bit impressed and they're going to trust you more. So that's going to come to you and you're going to get bigger goals. And what happens, since you're fulfilled with what you're doing, you know that you're on a mission in your company, you go back home and you are happy, right? And you're smiling. And are you familiar with the mirror neurons? You know, that when someone's smiling, you smile back. So we start this virtuous cycle that if you're happy at work and you're creating a good company to work for, the world is going to be happy. So try to be happy at work, please.
Okay, those are three things.
Yeah.
In your travels and when you put your book together, is there, or since you published your book, is there anything that you would have liked to have included that you didn't, or maybe a company that you studied and they said, they screw everything up, don't be like Empresa X?
No, I'm not going to say that. You know, I'm going to go away alive from this conference. No, but there's something I didn't talk in the book, and it's about co-founders, no? Because we're talking about startups, and I talk about the team, but I didn't point out that it's critical with your co-founders that you have a good relationship. I know that if you find a co-founder here, as Vincent, that's going to work because people around here are nice people, but it's important that you spend time with your co-founder talking about what you value in life, how do you think the company should be, what kind of people you want to work with. That's really important. And sometimes you start a company with someone you met somewhere that you know nothing, and then you realize a year later that you have nothing in common. So it's better to talk about this, define exactly how you would like to work together, and if there's a fit, then you can start a company, because otherwise it's going to be very hard for both.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, Vincent, I was looking at your background to figure out what questions to ask you, and you seem to have a lot of relations with things that are on the move. And one of the questions that I had for you was in your role as entrepreneur building a corporation, companies, and then moving on to become an investor, and then making the switch back as an entrepreneur, what's worse, being an entrepreneur or being an investor?
I think both, actually. No, it's good to, to invest is a way to learn, is a way to learn in collaboration with others, and of course a way to give back. So that's also something really interesting for an entrepreneur. You know, just not only learning from your own experience, but through others' experience. So yeah, I like both. I'm still doing both. More entrepreneur now than an investor, but I think it is just like a way to share and a way to learn. And I like challenges. This is why entrepreneurship is like also something I like to get and jump back into. So right now, just like I think it's not like one thing better than the other. Just like really fully well connected.
Well, one of the ways that people say the fastest way to learn is to invest, because you will lose money and you learn really fast. Is there anything that you thought as an investor that you were advising entrepreneurs, because I know you're an advisor in multiple companies, that you then, as an entrepreneur again, say, oh my God, what the heck am I saying? It's a lot easier to say than it actually is to execute.
Exactly. I mean, it's easy to give advices, and it's easy to say you should do that, you should do this. But at the end, I'm back to energy, back to, limited number of time and hours you have during the day. So, an entrepreneur has to rest, he has to be happy. And then it has to, of course, be as advised. But, being an advisor or being investors, trying to, be knocking at the door of the entrepreneur and making him losing time, it's not like something I like to do, of course, and I think this is not like really productive. So I prefer for them to wait, calling me and say, hey, I have a problem, I need to know your advice, than really being, beyond themselves, beyond them, so.
Okay. All right. Helena.
Hello.
I've been following you for a while, and you know I've been following you because I've been bothering you on
I
LinkedIn
know.
for years. One thing that came across a long time ago, and I never forgot it, was a phrase that has always linked me to BWOM. An orgasm a day.
Keeps the doctor away.
Okay. Explain to us how this works about the orgasms and the doctors.
I brought stickers for afterwards. I will give you. Okay. Here you have. Always ready. Okay. So at B1 we are treating the health for women. So one of the health part is sexual health. If you have a good sexual health, you are healthy. And it's not something I'm saying, we're taking it as fun, but there are medical really studies that prove that if you have a good sexual health, you are healthy. So at the end, and it applies to women, but also to men, for different reasons. But for everyone. So at the end, we thought it was a catchy sentence, but it really has a deeper meaning, and we have to really go inside and treat ourselves as a priority. And it's related to what David said, that if you feel good at the end, your surroundings also will feel good, your startup, you will be a good entrepreneur, and happiness, it's about emotions, but it's also about feeling good with your body.
And in terms of Pau Capital and with BWOM, are there things about qualities of an entrepreneur that you would like to take the moment to explain that you prefer, that you want to emphasize, or what is the biggest mistake that you've seen, either in the sexual health realm or in the anything you'd like to point out in terms of experiences that you've had?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I always say one thing. I think entrepreneurs have to be generous but humble, both things, because we cannot do anything alone. You know, you don't know anything, everything. You need help. So the humility, it's the first thing. But the generosity to give other people that will be in your project and that will take part, that will put their soul on doing something. So just compensate it, share the benefits. It's not for you. The company will get bigger if you surround yourself with good people and you make them part being generous. And the other thing, it's, I would say, startups, you get evolving. You have an idea, but at the main thing that happens, it's you have a mission or a vision. And the product, it's an idea to get to this mission. And usually what happens, and the product you started with, you change it. So be ready to change it, accept it as fast as possible, because then you will keep with the same mission, with different product, adapting to what the customers, the users are demanding. Not your idea, it's not what you have to do, the product itself. It's the mission you are there. And there are different ways to solve this mission.
Okay, excellent words for product market fit. I have to say something though. I went to listen to one thing, a discussion that you gave, Helena, and I'd like to point it out because you had an amazing way of making a very not so sexy sounding topic be really, really interesting. You gave a discussion that I found profoundly intelligently done on liquidation preferences. I don't know why, but between the orgasm and the liquidation preferences, I always think of you when I think
always
of
sexy.
Okay, and then Cecilia. Oh. Okay, we can do an entire topic on a night on this, but as technology continues to evolve, automation is more important. Artificial intelligence is more important. All these new technologies are coming on board and taking on a lot of our jobs in the future. With all these things that you've been doing, going out to California for these intense schools and learning about the future of work, can you share with us what you've seen or what you think might be manifesting itself here?
Yes, Victor, I will try to answer that question. We have a massive problem. We have a massive problem that our society today is very much driven by our economy, and our economy is consumption-driven, meaning that the end goal is always profits, sales, quotas. How much have we made? The exit, the unicorn. And this has led to our very unsustainable Earth and planet. I don't mean to be like so, godly and stuff, but this is the actual state of things that we are experiencing today. And we can see it. We live with what, fast food lifestyle, fast fashion lifestyle, fast car, and all of this is leading to, you know, our planet going into a very fast death. And if we don't do something now, and I'm saying this as an entrepreneur, we need to, I've learned one thing in my study when I was at Singularity, is that there's no such thing as a social entrepreneur, because every goddamn entrepreneur should be social, period. There is no, we make money first and then later on we do good. No, 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 your premise of your project should and ultimately be social. So how can we change from a society that is driven by a consumption economy to a fulfillment economy where we're based on purpose, we're driven by purpose and driven by fulfillment, because there's no amount of AI or automations or robotics or machines that will ever fulfill you as a person. So if we make that as a goal and as an objective in life, as entrepreneur, as corporations, as businesses, as government, then we can truly change, you know, where we are heading in the future.
Well, started off excellent. Well, so you started off a little negative, then you brought us up to the top, and now we're all inspired. Excellent. And if you can, Helena, is there something that you would like to share with the group about how you have been able to establish Pau Capital, and as a woman investor and being able to advance this part of, I guess I'm very proud of my city here, Barcelona, that it is trying to really push females and getting the startups done. Within this context of being social and the social cars and keeping a happy environment, is there something that you'd like to add a little bit on to keep it in a good spirit and move on to the next segment of tonight?
Yeah, I completely agree with, Cecilia, I forgot your name. Yeah, I mean, we have to make impact, we have to have a purpose when we're creating a company. There are different ways to have the purpose. I always go with the global goals. At the end, you can fit with anyone. But as investor, as David mentioned, what I look, it's why are you creating it? What are you expecting to do with it? Who do you want to work? And when you know the team and how they look at the future, not at the product they have today, because who knows what it will be in the future, but how they see the future, that's what really attracts me to invest. So at the end, I think you mentioned Barcelona. I think, look how many people we have today. We have something in Barcelona that are not in other cities. We have community. We have really the passion for the city. We want Barcelona to be a huge city, a city for startups. We want people to come here. And we feel the city in our hearts, even if we are born here or we just came later. So what we have to do is just share, give back once you have done something. And even if you have not done anything, your experience, it's always powerful. So what we can do for the city is just keep giving, keep coming, keep creating relations. This grows the ecosystem.
Perfectamente. Dunido. Merci. Anything you guys would like to add?
Well, actually, making an impact is something that we've been educated to, even if it's like something we don't know. And of course, you're right back to what you said, you know, always driven by KPIs and the way of consumptions, but in a deeper inside of self, we've been educated to actually do something out of our life. You know, we just want to do and make an impact. Working for others could be a great impact as well. I mean, it could be fine, but I mean, this is why you guys here, why we've been jumping into entrepreneurship as well, is like because we make an impact. And it's sometimes about selling, and sometimes it's about working differently, sometimes it's about being happy. I think the impact, we do it almost all the time. We try to break the rules and try to reinvent new rules. Not to break the society, it's to evolve and to make something much bigger and much better. However, in the meantime, you always make it fucked up. You know, you always try to disrupt something. I was told in BlaBlaCar that I was taking jobs away from bus drivers, so making a negative impact in society. However, I was trying to actually reduce the CO2 emissions, and though where is the limit of the good and the bad? Anytime you do entrepreneurship, you're going to do something that not going to meet really with the current society, but you're also trying to do an impact anyway. And this is the purpose, as Helena said, trying to do something out of yourself that makes you happy and makes a give back to the society. I guess this is why we're here.
Okay. Well, I think I got my clues that we need to wrap up, but I would like to take the moment to, again, thank you guys for being with us today. Thank Startup Grind for really staying true to the values in terms of giving first, making friends, and then helping others. They're always doing this, and you guys have emanated this with your companies and the spirit with which you've been here tonight. So if you can help me give applause to these wonderful people, thank you so much.